AJ want everything he can. I'll be the one to take the risk to go and get them bands. I'll be the one to never sit and go and make a plan. Knowing my mother getting old and I don't got no time. Gotta keep a couple for the road, the rest get left behind. Yeah. To the hundreds, pledge allegiance, I stand. I'm going pull four in the fucking white sand. I give it all to this fucking mic stand. If it's been done before, then I know I can. I'm on the rise, I'm trying to keep a level head.
Yo, what's the deal, y'all? Hope all is well. Welcome back to another episode. I'm Duke.
I'm Omar.
I'm Jalan, and this is Nice and Neat. And fellas, I want y'all to know I'm repping my WNBA jersey. Well, excuse me, my WNBA hoodie for a reason today. It definitely corresponds with what we're going to be talking about today.
And it also corresponds with International Women's Month.
Come on,
hello,
now.
Ladies.
Give it up for the ladies. Give it up for the ladies.
International Women's Month coming
Thank
up.
you, Duke, for that drop, bro.
Absolutely.
You know, ladies, we definitely love you. Without y'all, we wouldn't be here. That's a fact. And you know, and truth be told, for us three, this actually makes sense too. Without sports, we wouldn't really be here.
Wow.
We wouldn't be here without that. You know,
true.
The teachings, the learnings that we got from sports, the discipline that we've been able to create from sports, the relationships that we've been able to grow from sports. I think you guys have an incredibly amazing relationship that you guys got from playing together in Denver.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know, that was amazing. You know, and it took a lot of discipline for you guys to even get to that level. So what we're gonna be talking about today, man, is really the importance of sports within your development. Did you feel like that made you a better man? Do you feel like, actually, matter of fact, do you feel like playing sports is what helped you become the man that you are today? Does it make you a better man?
I think it's helped me become the man I am today, but to say that it's made me a better man, I can't say that. It's definitely made me a different man, for sure, right? Like a lot of things that, you know, I've taken from sports, like I've learned like how to work hard and how to be dedicated and how to be consistent and how to be prompt, you know. And all of those things help make me a better man, but I don't think the sport necessarily, because there are other things that you could do in life that you could adopt those type of traits and characteristics and still become a better man. So I don't know if it's, you know, that's like such a egotistical question, you know, and that only comes from sports, right? Because sports is all about
Ego
competition. I'm better than you. You're better. Oh, what's your stats? Shit, here's my stats.
You ain't seeing me.
You can't see me, bruh.
You can't see me,
bruh.
Can't see me, bro. You know I'm front, bro.
You feel me? That's where it comes to. So I think that's like driven by ego. You know what I'm saying? When you're able to remove the ego, you see, it's not about being better or being better than the next man. It's about being the best man that you could possibly be.
And that's what sports is all about.
And that's what sports is all about. You know, even if you never make it to the highest level, right? It's about being the best athlete you could possibly be, right? Getting the most out of your potential, maximizing your time in the space, and doing everything you possibly can to be the best athlete out there, you know? So, sports, I guess, sure, helped me become a better man, but without it, I still think I could be a great man.
It for sure sounds like you gained a sense of respect for other human beings along your way. You know, I know when I start to see other athletes that were just like, okay, he do stuff that I can't do. He do stuff I can't do. This guy's different.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how you gain a sense of respect off of that. You know, like I see Duke do some. Duke plays football and I see him dunk all the time. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, Duke is extremely athletic.
Extremely athletic. Extremely athletic.
But I'm gonna go ahead and be more firm on my answer and say sports has absolutely made me a better man. There's a lot of things I can attribute some of my skill set to, but I learned most of them through sports, right? I learned so many skills throughout my adolescence, through my collegiate years, you know, into adulthood that came through sports, right? And I think it's just, I got to give sports its credit because that's the background that shaped me. You know what I'm saying? I can give you so many examples of how I become a better man through sports.
Shit, give us a couple. We got a little time.
How many y'all want?
Yeah, come on, give us a couple. We got a little time.
Okay, cool. So off the rip, man, playing sports has taught me how to communicate. Okay, you got teammates, because unless you play golf or tennis. Or any
Track and
sport,
field.
or track and field, or any sport that is a solo sport, you're gonna have teammates. You're gonna have to communicate with these teammates.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I learned how to communicate early on, man. And the success of your team is dependent on how well you communicate, how quick you communicate, how efficient and clearly you communicate. All right. Another thing is punctuality.
Time.
Right? Time. Being on time. I learned that through sports, right? So now in the real world, now that I'm not playing sports, I'm always on time, because when I was playing sports, there was a direct consequence for being late.
Discipline.
Right? There was a direct consequence for being late. When I was playing in high school, it was up downs, right? Or lines or gashers. When I got to the collegiate level, it was up downs, bear crawls.
So sports
right?
early taught you consequences
for
early
sure.
on for your behavior.
For sure. Anything early, you learn consequences for, is going to shape you. And then when you get to the collegiate level, you know what they take?
Your
money.
Well, in college,
I mean, I'm sorry, at a professional. Professional.
Yeah, at the pro
when you
level.
get to the pro level,
Yeah, they taking your bread.
they take your bread.
Don't worry about it. Oh, you late? Oh, don't worry about it.
It's not even going to be
we haven't got to talk about it.
They're going to take your bread. Also, you know what sports has taught me? I'm sorry, with punctuality, it's also taught me how to show up places early, whether it's a date, whether it's a business meeting, whether it's a Zoom meeting, whether it's whatever. If you're there early, no one can ever hold that against you. All right?
Early, you're on time.
Showing up,
you're on time, you're late.
Exactly.
And
Showing
if you're
up
late,
early,
unacceptable.
Showing up early is a extension of, like we talked on the last episode, being a man of your word. I'm gonna be here at this time. So I show up at this time.
Hold on. What you pulling out over there, man?
Man, since Duke is talking about punctuality,
Wow.
I was visiting my dad this past weekend, man, and he has a bunch of stuff from high school, college, just my entire life, just laying all over the house, and I stumbled upon this old Denver Broncos minicamp schedule, right? And now that I'm removed from the game, I had time to sit back and look at it, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. There is a schedule for the day, and every hour is lined up. There is something going on every hour, every minute on the minute, right? And I think this has a lot to say with, the things that you were able to learn
Absolutely.
from sports, because you get put in this system where there's already a structure in place for you, right?
Yeah.
And you have to be at meeting at 7 a.m., but you got to be there early because you can't be walking in at 7 a.m. because the coach is already beginning the meeting, right?
Absolutely.
And the same things for like being on the field for practice. It's like you can't just be on the field at practice at 11 o'clock. Practice, we're already starting to practice,
Absolutely.
So, well, I think just to add to your point, being in this system and this structure for so long in our lives have given us such an advantage,
For sure. To
Like,
be honest.
just to be honest, and
Give me a rundown. What's over there? What's on that paper? Because I've never been to a Broncos practice.
I mean, and I'm pretty sure this is pretty standard for around the league. So I would say this is just in a NFL practice. But, contrary to popular belief, we do a lot more than practice within the day.
Yeah.
I mean, our practice is only 2 hours, and we're here from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
All the time.
all the time.
Minute to minute.
Practice is only 2 hours of the day. We are there from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So 7 a.m.
So it's like that right there already helped create your daily schedule, because that mentally that's what you're used to, is creating a schedule you can see it. Not a task list. A schedule. From this time to this time, I will be doing this. From this time to this time, I'll be doing this. And it actually takes people a very long time to actually comprehend that concept, to be able to understand the difference between a task list and an actual schedule. Mm-hmm. And me being someone I've never played professional sports, so I had to understand that through the real world. And that was a lot of trial and error that I had to go through. Mm-hmm. I wasn't fresh out of college, and I was just able to kind of, be placed into a scheduled system like that. Mm-hmm. So just being able to see, okay, at 7, I got to be here, at 8:15, I got to be here. 9:30, I have to be here. 12 o'clock, cool. That's my lunch hour. I'll be able to eat lunch at that time, and then it's back to it.
Yeah. I think with the schedule, the difference between a schedule and task list is you separating the difference between being busy and being productive, right? When you have tasks, it's just kind of like, yo, all right, I got to do this today. I gotta take my clothes to the cleaners. I gotta go drop off this hard drive to this editor. I gotta pick up some dog food, and I gotta go to the grocery store.
Right.
Okay, so that's your task list, right? And it's like the day goes on, you're like, shit, when I could get to it, I could get to it. But when you make a schedule, when you allocate a certain hour block for certain things, it's like you're so much more efficient. You know, you have a little more sense of urgency. You're like, yo, I scheduled this for this time. You know, even like it could almost drive you crazy sometimes. Like the other day, someone called me, a scammer called me from Amazon, right? And was trying to get my information, but I had already said, yo, at 9 o'clock, I'm headed to the car wash, right? They called me at 8:40, and I ended up on the phone with them till like 9:05. And I was so pissed at myself because I told myself I would be at the car wash at 9 o'clock because I had something else going at 10, you know? So, you know, it could almost, you know, get under your skin sometimes because it's like, yo, the schedule is the schedule, and I'm not trying to veer off from it, right? Because when I veer off from the schedule, all right, then I lose focus.
Yeah, some people.
I'm just busy.
Some people will say that you're overdoing it and you're just obsessed with the schedule, but that's kind of what it takes.
That's what it takes. You know, if you want to be really successful, you want to be the best man you possibly can be. You know.
So you feel like, you know, how you wanted to be at the car wash at 9 o'clock. You got that type of discipline strictly from sports.
From sports, and that's why I said there's certain things that I've taken for sports that have made me a better man, right? But I'm pretty sure there are countless men that are extremely successful, uber successful, that didn't play sports.
Yeah, right,
so that's why I say that. You know what I'm saying? Like there are things that I have taken from it for sure that have made me a better man. Pertaining to us,
because we all have to draw from somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, for me and for you, it is sports.
No, for sure.
It is sports because that's what shaped us.
You know, sports for me personally was the first thing I've ever experienced in my life that every rep matters in practice.
Yeah.
Because when you're in the game is kind of like a muscle memory thing. Like it's like I played this good this week because I had a really good week of practice.
That's a fact.
And that right there was always so important to me because I was able to take practice seriously, which was able to translate into my regular life that, you know, I'll go into me when I was a barber. I didn't have to have a celebrity client in my chair to put my best work on him.
Mm-hmm.
And I always took that mentality from sports. I want to be the best, whether I'm in practice or if I'm with a star. If I'm with a regular everyday guy, I still want to give him the same exact treatment that I'll give my stars, just simply because that is my practice.
Mm-hmm.
I have to practice how I play.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that was really ingrained into my head as a child. I never even played collegiate sports. But as a child, as an adolescent, that was something that was ingrained into my head. Being on time to practice, that was something that was ingrained, and my dad pushed it as well. I will say this. One thing that I never got to experience, that I got to see a lot of people did get to experience as we grew older, was because your schedule is so important and so tight, it's a lot of other people that they become a part of your schedule. So it's like, let's wait on Omar for this. Let's wait on Duke for this. Duke he has practice at this time and he gets out at this time. That means he needs to eat at this time. Do you ever feel like that was something that ever hindered you or held you back? Or do you feel like that was something that was able to propel you as well because people were in your corner during that time?
People wait on us?
Waiting on you, hand and foot.
No, I don't think it hindered me. I think that, you know, it just allowed me to have like a sense of comfort. You know, I think it gave me the space and the grace and the time to just kind of focus on what I need to focus on. I don't feel like it hindered me at all, you know. I don't feel like I was over coddled.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you play sports, some people coddle you, but like football, people expect you to be able to handle whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I never felt that just, you know, that warmth that people that protection from everybody. You know, it's just kind of like I'm playing a game, I'm playing sports, and people know what I have to do, and then, you know, that's kind of the extent of it.
Oh, what do you feel like is the biggest? I call it the biggest life lesson you've learned through sports. I know how organized you are. I know how punctual you are when it comes to your schedule. you know, but when it comes to your life lesson, you know, like implementation of the way that you interact with people, what do you feel like sports was able to help catapult your experiences with people?
Well, speaking from my perspective, Duke's perspective, from you know, a football background, you know, at least the most recent team I played on was the Denver Broncos, right? We had over 60 guys on the team, right? It's a lot of different personalities that you're interacting with on a day-to-day basis, right? Some guys you see more than others, right? Because you play the same position or on the same side of the ball. Some guys you don't, but you still are on the same team. You guys still have the same common goal, right? So I think one thing it did help me do, and I think Duke, you briefly touched on this, is be able to communicate with different walks of life, right? Everyone doesn't speak the same language.
Yeah.
You know, everyone doesn't understand the same way. Sometimes you got to break things down for different people. Sometimes, you know, what may seem simple or easy to the next individual may be complicated and difficult to the next, you know. So it also taught me patience. You know, gave me patience, right? From wanting to make it, you know, having the dream of making it, and then the time that it took, you know. And also, you know, when it came to competing for a spot, you know, sometimes it doesn't happen overnight. You know what I'm saying? You got
when it's your time.
When it's your time, you just got to be patient and stick with it. Keep chipping at it. You know what I'm saying? And do exactly what you said. You know, approaching every rep like, yo, this is that one. You know what I'm saying? I'm always trying to put the best shit on tape all the time, because the eye in the sky is always watching. That's a phrase that you will hear, you know, in the building. You know, because they're always filming you. You know, when you're on the football field, everything is caught on film.
Walking,
everything.
Literally everything.
If it's in frame, it's caught.
It's up to them to decide, do they want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But everything you do is caught on film, you know, so you always thinking about putting your best foot forward. So for me, it's learning how to effectively communicate with different walks of life, and also taught me patience dealing with people. So,
man, I think sports for me, a huge key that it's taught me is the importance of practice.
oof.
All right. Anything in life you want to be better at and improve, you got to practice.
Mando.
It doesn't matter what it is. You got to put the time in, put the work in, right? And put the effort in. And also, it's not just practicing, it's how you practice, right? That's really important for progressing and taking those steps to be successful. Is how you practice. What kind of what kind of urgency are you, you know, having when you're practicing? What kind of intention are you having when you're practicing? Because plenty of people practice and just go with the flow and kind of go with the motion. And they say, yo, I practice and I just did it to get it done, you know? And then the end result is not what they wish.
Yeah.
Right? But then there's people, go ahead.
No, go finish.
But then there's people that are actively, you know, and essentially being urgent about their practice because all they care about is being better. Like you said, every single rep counts. Every single rep, right? If you are studying for a test, every single minute, right? If you're graphic designing, you got to like put the reps in, you know what I'm saying? And do the reps and do the reps and do the reps till you get good. But it doesn't matter what it is in life. You want to act, you want to write, you got to do this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that it's given me the confidence to even go out and be a fashion designer because I didn't have no experience, but sports has taught me like, okay, I can learn how to do it because I got to just practice.
Yeah.
So I think sports is one thing that's helped me feel like I can accomplish anything.
Yeah. I want to dive a little bit deeper into the practice thought. I touched on this on my Instagram stories, on my Good Morning posts a few weeks back. And I think another thing that sports has also taught me how to do, you know, speaking along the lines of practice, is like how to take mental reps.
Absolutely.
Right? Because sometimes you're not always going to be able to do it physically, right? But you got to be able to put yourself there mentally, right? Just in case you end up in that situation in live action, you know? So like, for me, it's like, whatever I'm doing in my day-to-day life, you know, if I can't get to it, you know, physically, well, can I actually put myself there mentally and feel like I can actually get the mental rep, you know? Because those reps happen or count too, you know? Those reps give you confidence. Like, can I see myself making the play? Yeah. Right? Can I see myself being in the right spot? Okay, cool. I can see myself. So when I get out there, all right, bet more than likely I'm gonna have better chances of being in that spot, being able to make the play.
Facts.
And I'm glad you touched on your mental, right? Because I know this is something that you went through as well. And I think sports is incredible at being just a microcosm of what life is.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because within sports, injuries occur.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to see the mental callous that I get to see on athletes go through injuries that maybe 10, 15 years ago would have been career-ending injuries, you know, torn ACLs, MCLs, PCLs, you know, labrums, hip dislocations, things like that. And then, you know, we have modern medicine, yes, but it still takes the rehab. And people don't talk about the mental strain that you have to go through in order to get through your rehabs and when you're laying in that bed and you can't move, your legs can't move, your arms can't move, and you're laying in that bed you just can't wait till you get to the point of doing the things that you were used to being able to do, just having that normal quality of life that you were used to, and being able to develop that mental callous to say, I'm going to get my ass back out there and I'm going to do what I was doing before. I feel like that translates so well into just real life. And you had a major injury. You both actually had both major injuries that you both came back from. What did it take mentally for you guys to even get back from that? Duke, you first.
Ooh, man, for those of you guys listening, I had 2 different surgeries back-to-back seasons. You know, I think that the mental stress that I felt was probably one of the most toughest times that I've experienced, man, because it was just such a prominent time, you know, to be playing for me. But I think for me, just having the confidence to take it day by day, right? And not look so much into the future, not look too far into the future, but look at the moment and look at in an hour and then look at tomorrow, you know? And then take it literally day by day, because when you get hurt or you're injured or you're injured or you have surgery, it feels like you're never going to be the same again.
Mm-hmm.
You know how it feels. It just feels like you're never going to be the same again, and you know it feels like forever.
Yeah.
But if you just take it day by day and don't think too much about, you know, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, but think about tomorrow, some short-term shit.
Mm-hmm.
It'll help you keep going.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how I was able to keep pushing back-to-back years.
Yeah.
Right. And even just have the confidence to get out there again and say, you know what, I'm still do this.
Yeah. I think through my trials and tribulations of, you know, going through injuries, you know, I tore my ACL in college. I've also had 2 labrum surgeries, what Jalon mentioned. But I think through those things, you know, I learned how to be really resilient. You know, and I think that resilience came from like the love for the sport. You know, like I just love the sport so much that I was willing to put myself in those situations where I didn't want to be there, or, you know, where I knew it was probably easy for me to quit and fold, you know, but, you know, ultimately I had a bigger goal, you know, and that's just because of the love of the sport. So through the love of the sports, I developed resilience, you know, and I think that's what happens with anything in life. Like you keep going because you're in love with it, right?
That passion exists.
It's that passion exists. Without it, you would give up. You would just walk away. You would pick up something else and start something new in life, you know. But when you love it, you know, you develop that resilience and, you know, that hunger to continue pursuing whatever it is that you're pursuing.
Whew, man, I don't know how you guys don't get almost emotional every time you guys talk about
Choked
that.
up.
Yeah, because, you know, I just think about the implementation of that mindset to where you say, I'm going to get through this. And like, oh, you said, it's the passion, right? Not only the passion, it's a certain amount of respect that you have for what you're doing. And that's why I think it's extremely important for whatever it is in your life that you're doing, you have to respect it first. You know, and then through that respect, you can develop a passion for what it is that you're doing. And when you don't have the best day, you can get through that shit, you know? And like you were saying, Duke, when you just think about when the injury first happens, you can't think about, man, I can't wait to get back on the field, because that's actually physically something that you cannot do.
You'll stress yourself out.
And you're going to stress yourself out. But if you could just think about like, man, in an hour, I just want to be able to see if I could lift my leg up once.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I can do that. Tomorrow, I'm going to see if I can sit up. Okay, cool. Next week, let's see if we can walk. All right, bet. Cool, we got that. And I think when you are able to give yourself certain little pinpoint goals that you can create, and I think that's one thing that sports has definitely done for each and every one of us. At the beginning of your journey, you know there's a goal at the end, and you know exactly what you're aiming at all the time. There's a target there for you. And I think sports in my life has created a consistent target to where I know what I'm shooting at. I know what I'm aiming at. I know what I'm looking forward to. And I know if I don't hit my target, I know why, I know what I did, and I know what was wrong. It's very sports it's something that you can actually gauge.
Yeah.
And it's because of the structure, you know, and I think success lives in the structure.
Yeah.
And that's why sports for me has been so intricate and so important, and within its intricacies that it works.
It's kind of like a common theme here, is that, you know, develop structure. Like, I don't even think we could get away from.
I mean, I seen that schedule. That schedule is structure. Success lives in the structure.
Success lives in the structure.
How do you get away from structure? You can't.
Not if you want to be successful.
Not if you want to be successful.
For most of us, we need.
Are we live?
Oh yeah, we live, baby. Are we live?
Are we live?
Are we live?
Charlotte.
Are we live? We are live, baby. What's the deal, y'all? Welcome back to the Nice and Neat Halftime Show. I'm your host, Omar, but I'm assuming you knew that already. All right. Before I hop into the show, I definitely want to take this opportunity to plug a couple things that we got going on here. You know, we do such an awesome job, or I think such an awesome job of sharing other people's platforms, but it's important for us to share what we got going on our own platform. So one thing I want to touch on, man, if you're looking for ways to get in shape and, you know, to get that six-pack and that core nice and tight for the summer, head over to alpha-burn.com to download the 6-week ab guide. That's right, Duke has been tearing it up over there on Alpha Burn. He's got guys looking in shape and ready for the summertime, looking like a snack. You know, that's what the ladies want to see, right? And if you're interested in learning how to move like a better athlete, head over to omarcbolden.com to download the How to Move Like an Athlete program. You could do it in the comfort of your own home, or you could do it in the gym, wherever you like to do. With that said, I would like to get into today's halftime show, and I would like to shout out the MVP of today's show. And the MVP goes to the best comment on our recent YouTube video. And that comment comes from Jen K. And she says, before watching this episode, I could feel the confidence you all exude. So it's funny you all talked about confidence in this episode. Thank you for creating this podcast. Love it. So Jen, shout out to you.
Shout out to Jen.
Shout out to Jen. Shout out to Jen for showing some love and support to the YouTube channel. We really, really appreciate that. But yeah, as you guys could see, I pinned the question down below, and what today's episode topic is all about, and it's about do we think playing sports makes you a better man? So if you guys have any questions or comments, shoot them off, fire them off. And while you guys are doing so, I'm going to go ahead and get into a question that we got from one of our viewers, and this is from Glenn Perkins, and his question is, do the lessons you learned from playing sports as a kid make it more likely for you to be successful as an adult? Such a great question, Glenn.
There go that whistle.
There go that.
I found it.
There go that whistle. You want to dive into that, Duke?
Question one more time.
Yeah, I got you. Do the lessons you learned from playing sports as a kid make it more likely for you to be successful as an adult? Good.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it makes you more likely to be successful, but it does give you certain tools to be successful. I think there are many things or many extracurricular activities you can probably join as a young adult or as a kid that can help you as an adult. So I wouldn't say it makes you more likely, right? But it does give you certain tools that we talked about before, like communication, like being on time, like discipline, like teamwork, right? That's a big one because, you know, when you go into the real world, you're going to meet people and you're going to have to know how to network and, you know, use people and, you know, reciprocate with people to achieve a common goal. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think the lessons you learn from playing sports are more likely to make you successful as an adult. just like you said, you know, there's so many important things that you pick up along the way, you know, how to be on time and how to be respectful and look a man in his eye and, you know, do all the right things. So even learning how to work hard for something that, you know, you feel like you deserve, you know, those are things that you're going to have to truly face as an adult, like earning a job or, you know, chasing after a certain career that you're after. And the lessons that you learn, that you, I guess, learn through playing sports can only make you better and can only uplift you as you're chasing other things in life, you know? So like, if I didn't learn, you know, how to wake up on my own and get to, you know, to where I need to be early, then, you know, I'll probably miss out on a lot of opportunities as an adult because, you know, I'm just strolling in, you know, whenever I want, you know, but I understand, you know, you got to be disciplined and be prompt when whatever you're doing. And I picked up all of those things through playing sports.
For a lot of us that play sports, I think we can appreciate our upbringing, you know, and I feel like it's a big part of who we are today. And I think most people that play sports would definitely say that playing sports has, if they are successful, has definitely attributed to their success. One thing I don't like though, right? I hear a lot of people talk about athletes aren't this, or athletes aren't that, or athletes aren't smart, right? But they don't really talk about all the qualities that athletes do have.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the ones we mentioned. And I think that, you know, as a society, right, particularly in America, I think our, you know, we gotta think a little deeper, you know, when we think about athletes and learn to appreciate the things that they do well, as opposed to, you know, things they don't.
Another thing that, you know, playing sports taught me as a kid is not just to work, you know, not how to work hard, but like how to be consistent, you know, like anybody could show up to practice and work hard one day at practice, but like being consistently good and working hard at practice is going to get you the spot that you're going to earn. On top of that, you know, most times in life, you know, we often remember the people who are the most consistent, you know. It's like, if you're not trying to be consistent, you're not really trying to be remembered. And this is a quote I actually saw in this is a quote I actually saw on a friend of mine's bio on Instagram. He says, you're here to get noticed and I'm here to get remembered. You know, and I honestly think if you're trying to be remembered in any way, you know, you got to be consistent. There's no way anybody's going to remember you if you're not going to be consistent in what you're doing, you know, and those are things that, you know, I learned early on through playing sports, you know, and those are things that I carry on with me in my adult life. So, yeah, to answer the question, I do think that the things that you learn early on in sports carry over to your adult life. So, if we don't have any more questions,
wrap halftime up.
Wrap it up.
Yeah.
Boss said we gotta wrap it up.
Let's roll.
We gotta wrap it up. Sorry, guys. We'll catch you guys on the next halftime show. If you guys aren't already, please be sure to subscribe to the Nice and Neat YouTube channel. Like and comment on our posts. We greatly appreciate the engagement and the interaction from you guys. And also feel free to leave comments of like what you guys want us to talk about. You know, if you guys have a question, a topic that you guys want us to dive into, drop that in the comments on the video, and we'll see if we could cook up a nice episode next for you guys. So with that said, we're gonna get to the night the only way we know how. Per usual, we'll get to it with some positive energy, some positive vibrations, and a smile, of course. Y'all get out and go have a great one, or go home and have a great one. Peace.
That first half we were speaking about, and something that I will say that I can see, I've experienced, I felt, I know you know, is ultimately you've learned how to win and lose.
That's the biggest one.
You know,
that's the biggest one.
I've, like, you know, when people are like, oh man, yeah, wins and losses, right? And you see how that phrase has been able to trickle outside of sports, because that's where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
It's been able to trickle outside of sports into your everyday life, because, like I said earlier, sports is absolutely a microcosm of what life is. Every time you're going against something, or every time you have a goal, you consider that your opponent. You know, and when the goal is your outcome that you were looking for, You won.
Success.
You won.
Yeah, that's a win.
And
It's
when
a
the
win.
goal is an outcome that you weren't necessarily looking for,
It's an L.
it's an L.
No, but it's not necessarily a loss.
Not necessarily a loss.
But it's an L.
But it's an L.
But it's
You
an
know,
L.
it could be a lesson. You know, it can make you go back in, and you may change your personnel, you may change your scheme,
May change your approach.
you may change your approach, but you now know that you have some sort of barometer to look at because that was a win and there was a loss. One thing that I've always it's crazy that I didn't even plan on talking about this today, but it's so interesting that I have you two here because I've always wanted to ask Duke I believe it was 2015 when you guys played against the Super Bowl against 14.
2014.
Omar and Duke played together for the Denver Broncos. They played against the Seattle Seahawks. And they lost that Super Bowl. And 2 years later, they were able to make it back to the Super Bowl and they were able to win. Unfortunately, Duke wasn't a part of that team. I've always wanted to know, what did you learn from that L, Duke, on that team? Because you guys had so much firepower. I'll be honest with you guys. Everybody expects you guys to win. You know, but what did you learn from being on that team? And then 2 years later, you weren't on that Super Bowl team.
Okay, what I learned from being on that team is that, you know, it doesn't really matter what you are on paper.
Mm.
It doesn't really matter what people think you are or how good people think you are or bad you are. You still got to go out there and get the shit done.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I learned. And all that matters is, did you get it done or did you not get it done? Right? So one thing for me individually, that's what I learned. And for us as a team, that's what I learned. Right? For me as an individual, you know, I'm like, hey, this is my first year starting, right? I'm an undrafted free agent. You know, I'm young. You know, they don't have to pay me for another 2 years. I should be on the team. You know what I mean? I have all these things that I'm holding on to. Like, I'm a baller. It doesn't matter. Did I get it done when I was on the field, or did I not get it done? Right? So when they released me the following year, it was just like, yo, like, that's just what it is. You didn't get enough done when you was on the field when you was there. So I had to just take that and pick up and move on to the next spot. Right? That's what I learned as an individual and as a team. And I think that when they won the Super Bowl 2 years later, it was like, first of all, my homeboys is on the team still. Right? So it was all good, right? My homeboys is on the team. But then it was also like, I'm a fair person. I understand. Whatever happened with me and the team worked out for the team. So as far as business goes, they made the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
So that mindset was created from where?
From always taking accountability. It was created from always taking accountability and not giving the power to no one else to make me feel like insignificant. Right? So if I always take accountability for my actions, I'm like, all right, cool, I got released. I had to look at myself. So I didn't have that resentment moving forward.
Man, yeah, I've always been so curious about that. Like, I've always wanted to know, because it's easy to walk around and resent the entire situation. Not necessarily your friends, like you said. Like, you're not gonna look at and be like, stupid ass ring. You're not gonna, you know, that's not gonna be a thing. But I've always really wanted to know, you know, how you felt about that. And I asked because just being able to understand not just sports, but the business behind sports. You know, you were able to understand that and be able to sleep at night. You know, for me, right, as well, one thing that I think is so dope when it comes to just competitive energy is there's no color barrier
in sports.
Best man.
It's just the best man.
And best man out there.
Well, is that true though?
I mean,
I'm gonna tell you why.
Before you
true.
get to the pro level.
Okay.
Before you get to the pro level, for sure.
There's like, if you're a baller, you're a baller.
Yeah.
Like, nobody sees your color. Like, for example, I know Christian McCaffrey got a lot of flack coming out of college. You know, like, oh, he's just getting this hype because he's a white boy, and he went to the league and he balled.
Yeah, but they still say that white boy nice.
They still say the white boy nice, but they don't say
they never be like, oh, that black boy nice.
Yeah, but they
they don't say the black guy
that.
behind him playing should be in the game.
Yeah.
They're not gonna say that.
Everything he get, he earned.
Everything he get, he earned that.
Yeah.
He out there balling. Larry Bird, baller. Yeah, we gonna say white boy. We always did. But Larry Bird, he was a baller. Larry Bird used to go across the tracks just to play with the black dudes because he knew they was better in his neighborhood. You know, to go ball. And when he went to go into the hood in the inner cities to go ball, they was look at this skinny white boy. What he doing over here? And he started busting that ass.
Yep.
And it was like, oh, he's a baller.
Yep.
He's really good. Okay, for sure. We don't even really see color with that no more. And that's why I really love what's going on in sports, especially with the whole Black Lives Matter movement and how they're incorporating. I don't know if you guys see the Atlanta Hawks the other night. They were playing, and usually they have big ATL across their jerseys. And because of Black History Month, they had MLK.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's guys from Russia that is playing on that team. It's guys from all different walks of life, all different countries, and they have MLK across their chest, you know, and representing that, you know, it shows me that color doesn't matter, bro.
Mm-hmm.
When you in sports, color does not matter. That is the one place where everybody feels safe.
Yeah.
You know, and I know you guys played with certain guys of different races, and you was like, hey,
nice.
Your quarterback was Peyton Manning.
Boy, nice.
He's nice.
The boy low-key the greatest of all time.
And you're not going to say he's not just because.
Nah. But that position is a little.
It's a little. You're right.
It's a little fluid.
You got me.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a position that's, you know,
predominantly
by white guys.
Historically favored by
white men.
These guys.
Yeah, and you know what? That absolutely rings prevalence when we look at guys like Cam Newton and Lamar Jackson not getting any cerebral credit. They just get credit for their athletic ability.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that's something that is being fought for now within sports as well. But they're not getting taken away from not being able to play the position.
No, not at all. But I think, you know, that kind of brings me to my next point. And, you know, I guess one thing that you do learn from playing sports is like how to develop tough skin. You know, you end up in these situations where you have to deal with public scrutiny, you know, public criticism. You know, I think 9 times out of 10, if you put the average person in a situation where they're getting scrutinized and criticized in front of their peers, they'll probably fold. You don't really have that option to fold as an athlete. And if you do, you won't last. You know, you kind of just have to take that on the chin and keep it moving. You know, you don't really have the leeway to take things like that personal in sports.
Where else have you got yelled at publicly?
At home, in front of my friends, maybe. That may have been there when I did something wrong, but never. Really no other place that the people feel comfortable enough getting at someone grown, speaking from, you know, the pro experience, you know.
It's not socially acceptable.
Nah.
Unless you're talking about the military.
Unless you're talking about the military.
Other than that.
I'm going to ask you guys. Because it was something that was interesting I seen a couple of years ago. How do you guys feel about participation trophies?
I'm good on that. I'm all the way with James Harrison on that. For those that don't know the story, I think James Harrison's son got awarded a 3rd place trophy, or was it maybe 2nd?
I really think it was just a participation trophy.
It was just
he didn't win.
He didn't win, and the school gave him a participation trophy, and James Harrison got a lot of, you know.
Take it back.
Yeah, you know, the media kind of tore him down because he told his son or he took it away from his son.
Yeah.
You know, and told the school to take it back, you know. But I agree with that because that's like settling for like a loser's mentality. You know, like everything we do, we set out, especially if we're competing in it, we're setting out to win. Word. Right. And if I don't, well, okay, then I'll settle with the lesson that comes with it. Right. But my intentions in coming here were to win. And if I didn't win, well, I don't want anything. You know, I received enough in that loss, you know, in that lesson.
Only thing I want is to go get better.
That's it.
Thanks.
That's it.
That's it. You know, and I feel like that's why I said it's so comparable to real life, because if you start accepting participation trophies, like life don't work like that. You don't get money for not working.
That's like, what do they say? What do they say most of the time? They call it moral victories.
I don't know what that is. What's that?
Moral victory.
What is a moral victory?
We don't do those. We don't do those.
Right, but you often hear that phrase get thrown around. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that was a moral victory
It's
for
like,
us.
yo, we lost the game, but hey, we played
well
last week. Or
You
hey,
played the best that you could possibly play.
like,
nah, that's a coach's spill.
we
That's
scored,
cop out.
we scored 40 points. Other team scored 42.
Now, we didn't play well
You know
enough.
what I'm saying? So we lost, but hey, the offense won. So, guys, that's gonna bring us to the end of our show.
Damn, already?
Yeah, but as usual, man, we try to add as much value to you guys as possible, and the way we like to do that, the way we like to add value, is to highlight other podcasts that we feel can benefit your life in one way or another. And the podcast that we're gonna highlight today is I Am Athlete. And it's
that's good. I love that.
And this one really makes sense for us because we're all former athletes, and some of us have personal relationships with the guys on I Am Athlete. It's hosted by Brandon Marshall, Chad Johnson, Fred Taylor, and Channing Crowder, and it focuses on important and controversial topics around sports, culture, and society from the athlete perspective. And before I forget, actually, it is International Women's Month. Right, so it's only right that I acknowledge I Am Woman.
Hello,
yeah.
Right? Hello.
I Am Woman is also. I guess you could call it like the sister show to I Am Athlete, and it's spearheaded by Brandon Marshall's wife, Michi Marshall, who does an excellent job moderating and hosting the show, with three other women as well, and they really talk about struggles in marriage and relationships, how their experience is being wives and girlfriends of athletes, and so much more. So definitely tap in with them. You can find them on YouTube, I Am Athlete, and yeah. But make sure you guys, when you guys go watch I Am Athlete or I Am Woman, make sure you guys comment on the videos and leave a review and tell them the Nice and Neat sent you.
Absolutely.
All right. With that said, I'm Duke.
I'm Omar.
I'm Jalan. And this is Nice and Neat, and that's that on that.
Take the risk to go and get them bands. I'll be the one to never sit and go and make a plan. Knowing my mother getting old, now I don't got no time. Gotta keep a couple for the road, the rest get left behind.